As many of you know, I've been planning on having an event at the end of July, and those plans have changed. We are changing the date earlier. I was originally going to delay it a few weeks, but I decided to go ahead and bump it forward a few weeks. So it's going to be July 11th and 12th. So basically, there's another event happening at the same time. I didn't want the dates to kind of contradict each other, so I wanted to move the date. But then I started thinking, now that I got the date separated, I could actually go to the other event. So that is going to be the plan. So move my date to July 11th and 12th, and then the 25th and 26th is the date of the other event. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready for that event. I got some work to do, though, in the process, but we're going to be doing some projects here to kind of get ready for that event in July. It is a race. So there is a race happening at the end of July, and I'm going to go to it, but I got to do some things. You see, there's different classes. They're running a regular, like normal ported saw, gasoline classes and stuff. They're doing a 3 cube, a 4 cube, a 5 cube, and a 6 cube class. I have most of those ready. Well, I wouldn't say most, all but 4. I still need to finish 4 of those projects in order to run in all classes. But even if I don't get these 4 done, I have other stalls that I can, kind of use as a backup. You know what I mean? They're not as hot as what I plan on building these. So, I'll still be able to run. But, let me kind of explain to you here and show you what I'm talking about. So what you're looking at here is my Briscoe 4910, and that's the Husqvarna 50 that I put the Partner 5000 top end on. Those are basically 3 cube builds that I could take to the races. I've already raced the Briscoe saw a few times. This one here, I have yet to actually get it to a race, and I want to try to do it this time around. We just got it running again, so I still need to take it out, get some tuning on it and all that stuff. But that's the saw I plan on taking for the 3 cube. As far as 4 cube is concerned, that saw's been done. It's not pulling. It's a 445 with a 415 top end. So it's basically a 65cc saw. But I have that one, and I have my 036 that Briscoe built. I'm fine with taking either of those, but I'm definitely good in the 4 cube class. The 5 cube, though, I have a few options. So, like, I could take my bellhopper 372. That's the 372 I'm currently working on. I got one more tweak I'm going to do. And you've seen that white one, which is over here. But the one I want to take is actually a Dalmar, so I'll show you that. And as far as the 6 cube, I've been doing this 385. It's not quite fast enough for my likings to race with, but it's kind of like a really good firewood build, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. I'm thinking about replacing the air filter setup and setting it up more as a firewood saw. You know what I mean? Instead of taking for racing. So that would leave me without nothing for the 6 cube. And that is kind of where we're getting here today. So this is the one I want to take. No, this is the one that we've been running that I could currently take as a 5 cube build. But that's the one I want to take, and you can see it needs work done. I have all the parts coming right now to finish that build. So we're going to see if we can get that saw up and running. That's a Dalmar 7300 that I'm putting a 7900 top end on. So we're going to see if we can pull that off. That would give me my 5 cube build. And this is the Holzheimer 395. So at Sawfest, they have a clone battle for these clone 395s. But it's also a 6 cube build, so I can actually run it in both classes. And that's the one I plan on taking this year for my 6 cube. And this one has always been intended to be more of an unlimited build saw, running on alcohol, all that stuff. And this partner as well. So these 4 saws are sitting here because they all 4 need to be finished. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. I think today I'm going to work at getting this guy go ahead and get it converted to methanol. This 79, it's a big bore 372 clone. I'm going to go ahead and get that converted to methanol, I think. It's a very high roof. It's a 94-degree exhaust roof, all that stuff. I'm just afraid the intake timing might be too much. So that's kind of what we're working to figure out here today. And this one here is definitely going to be on methanol, but it kind of depends if it can, well, it kind of depends on where the compression and all that stuff sits. If it's too high, I won't be able to take it to nitromethane. If it's low enough, then I can. So there's like we'll just say like 180 pound of compression. Above that, nitromethane isn't an option. It's too much. Below that, we can run nitromethane. So that's kind of like, we're actually going to be looking at that on both of these saws. We're going to compress and test this one, but I'm pretty certain it's too high for nitromethane. This one, I don't know. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to compression test this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and work at getting it to methanol, because I think this is going to end up being a methanol with an expansion chamber build. I think that's what we're going here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get them compression tested and see about what we got to do here. Let's see what our options are. So I got the compression test done. It came up at 210 pounds of compression. That would be too much for nitromethane. So we're basically going to be looking at methanol and possibly expansion chamber later on, but I think the compression is going to be high enough that with an expansion chamber, she's going to build heat really, really fast. So we're going to take it to, go ahead and take it to methanol. We'll see how she goes, but we may or may not take it to expansion chamber build. We'll see. It kind of depends on how this plays out here. So I actually got the carburetor tore apart, or I'm in the process here, and I'm going to start doing some modifications to get her switched to methanol. Then we'll throw her together, get her fueled up, and start the final tweaks. So let's see how she plays out. Alrighty. All right, there we go. We're on methanol. This was definitely a learning lesson on this one. So I kind of figured out some things why I've had trouble in the past on other saws, and I'm going to take this learning lesson and move forward with it. I discovered that, well, I mean, I burned up, I shouldn't say I burned up, I ruined 3 carburetors until I got the 4th one to work. So what ended up being here is I went through 3 372 carburetors, modifying them. The first one I did, I mean, I could get it to go fine on the high-speed circuit, but the idle circuit it refuses. I went to another one, because those 372 carburetors, you'll have 3 of them, and all 3 of them look a little different inside. So I kind of went through 3 of them, ruined all 3 of them going through the process, until eventually I was like, you know what? I got a brand new carburetor sitting up here. Let's use that one. The thing is, this is a 460 carburetor. These, like the internal piping of the carburetor is different than a 372. These are piped with, or this one at least, the idle circuit and the high-speed circuit are independent of each other. So most of your carburetors, those 2 circuits kind of have like a shared thing, you know what I mean? This does not. They are separate. They have separate inlets through the jets, everything. It's all separate. So as soon as I got this modified and put on there, what do you know? The saw runs perfectly fine. The issue was running a 372 carburetor. I'm going to take this lesson moving forward too. These 460 carburetors, converting them to methanol, they work really well. Very easy to convert compared to the 372s. I'm going to probably stick with these. The issue is, like, the throttle linkage is different. But the difference between a 372 and a 460, you can change out the throttle rod assembly. Take the 372 stuff out of that 372 carburetor, put it in the 460 carburetor, and it works just fine. That's all you got to do is swap them out, and you have, you know, your throttle linkage kind of like the 372, like a cable-driven style. The 460, it uses like a solid rod, so it doesn't, you know, it's a little different. The other difference is the choke. So this has a 460 choke on it, which on 460s, most of the workings of the choke and what locks it in place and all that stuff is built into the trigger. And on 372s, it's all built into the carburetor. I imagine with some time, I could get it to work and do some modifications and stuff to make it work. It would be a process because the little ball detent that kind of stops the choke at different positions, it does not exist on the 460 carburetor. You'd be better off to figure out a way to use the 460 choke to pull it and figure out a way to lock it into place. Like, say you made a rod, like your own custom rod that came through the air cleaner or something, make it with like a slot and have your rod have like a ball on it or something where you can kind of pull it out and pull it up and lock it into place. You know what I mean? The other issue though is that it does not have a locking position for your throttle. Like, it doesn't lock your throttle into position, you know what I mean? It's just at your standard idle. So what I'm going to do is just leave it, I guess, and rig up a system to where I can prime it. Just squirt a little gas in there, prime it, and then I'll just get accustomed to ripping on the cord and giving us a little click of the trigger, you know what I mean, to get her going. That's how I'm going to start this saw. Should work out just fine that way, you know what I mean? Now, if I was ever in a racing situation to where you kind of want that throttle locked in place, I'll have to figure something else out, you know what I mean? Something, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe I will go ahead and convert this to a 372 style choke setup. It'll be a pain, some drilling and all that stuff. But if I could do that, then I'd have the throttle lock. Maybe I will go ahead and do that path. But that's the big hurdle. So I think next now we got to work at getting this guy in the wood and get her tuned up. The low speed circuits seems to be really close. The high speed, I have it tuned really fat. So, you know, going to methanol, you need to make sure you can go fat, and I definitely got her fat. So we're gonna have to put her into some wood and get her tuned up. But that's where we're at right now. So the next thing you're gonna see is me trying to make some cuts out of it. I mean, we're tweaking from this point on. So we are converted to methanol. This took me all day, just so you know, all day going through different carburetors, playing with this. Now, I didn't, work on it all at once. I mean, there was a period there. I think I worked for like 2 hours. Then I stopped, got some lunch, went out, cut some firewood, went in, relaxed a little bit, ate some dinner. Then, it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening. I came out and decided to do this 460 carburetor setup. And I'm happy now. She runs. Rich, too. So, depends on how rich it is. We might be actually be able to throw a touch of nitromethane in it. It depends. We might go ahead and explore some of that and see if we could. We're going to see how this progresses. If we do try to throw nitromethane at it, though, it won't be much. Probably a 10% at best. maybe 20. Like even 10%, 10% sounds like a small amount, but boy, does it make a big difference. So it just depends because our compression's a little high and stuff. We'll have to see how this progresses. I think we're going to be just fine with the methanol. You know what I mean? I'd like to see this thing pull a 10 pin though. So I need enough torque out of it to pull a 10 pin, and that's kind of the path we're taking here. So, alrighty, let's go give it some test cuts.